Hi everyone, here's another video about missional communities. A recap from last time, we were hearing how churches who run missional communities have a desire to have a missional community for every community within the area that they serve. Thinking about Twerton, there are lots of micro communities within Twerton, lots of different pockets of people who have different backgrounds, different things in common. We are a diverse community, and therefore we need the diversity of missional communities within St Michael's to be able to reach out to those micro communities. We also heard about sharing lives being really key to these communities. That they're not just, missional communities aren't just events or programs or courses that are run by the church, but they have a high value on doing life together, on beginning to share each other's lives, the key moments in our weeks, inviting others into time together over meals and walks and activities, just the normal everyday stuff, but thinking about up, in and out as we share life together. And then finally we heard about overflowing lives as we learn what it looks like to love one another. Our prayer is that our lives would overflow to others, that we don't just become little insular, inward-looking communities of people who love each other but don't overflow to others. We want to have big, wide open doors saying welcome to new people so that they can come and experience the amazing gift of community that we have experienced. So that was a recap. This week we want to look at the mission side of missional communities. Now, often in churches, mission is something that's done by a couple of people that we might send money to overseas in Africa or a poorer nation in the world, or mission is something that only the keen beans, the kind of really out there kind of courageous Christians do. Or it might be something that we support as a project or an event or a course. It might be Alpha, or it might be Rose Cottage Cafe, and it's something that we are all like totally up for and behind, but it's kind of contained, and so mission for missional communities is a bit different. It's all about relationships and people. It's relationships rather than running programs, and it's about people, not projects. So we want to look at one of Jesus's strategies for mission, and this is a strategy called People of Peace, and it's a strategy that's used by missional communities in lots of other churches, and it's found in Luke chapter 10. Verses 1 to 16, where Jesus sends out disciples on mission without him, and they've spent lots of time with him, but now he sends them out in pairs, in small teams, and he gives quite clear instructions. He gives a strategy of what to do when they encounter people who don't yet know Jesus. And it says that when you enter a house, first say, "Peace to this house." If someone who promotes peace is there, your peace will rest on them. If not, it will return to you. Stay there, eating and drinking whatever they give you, for the worker deserves his wages. Do not move around from house to house. So Jesus is saying, when you find some people that don't yet know Jesus, work out who the people of peace are. Work out who the person who wants to serve you, the person who opens their life to you, the person who actually, when you start to share a little bit of your story, maybe start to talk about Jesus, or maybe you offer prayer, they receive it. They don't just say no thanks, get all awkward and try to shut the conversation down. But discern who the people that God is already at work in. Who are the people that want to say, can I help you with something? Or or they start asking questions. Don't spend lots of time and energy with people that just don't want to know. It's not that they won't ever be interested. I'm sure there might be people in your family or friends that you have that at the moment they're closed, but they might be down the line open, and we want to keep praying for them. We don't ever want to stop praying for those that we know who are close to us, that we are already in relationship with, to come to know Jesus. Of course we want to pray for them, but when it comes to intentional mission, when it comes to inviting people to into our community, Jesus is saying focus on the people who are open, the people of peace. And if you don't have anyone like that at the moment who is open to you in that way, then we need to go and find some new people of peace. They're everywhere. They're everywhere in Twerton. They're walking down the streets. They're working in our schools. They're working in our shops. They're buying their food from McColl's. They're wandering past Rose Cottage and hopefully wandering through the door in a couple of weeks. They're living right next door to us in our neighbours' houses. They're everywhere, and our job is to find out where they are and then start investing into those relationships. Finding a person of peace means discovering where God is already at work in the neighbourhood or a network of relationships you're seeking to reach. And as a missional community, you've got to start working out who your people of peace are, because they will be the people you need to start orientating your community around. They will be the people that you'll be thinking, when do we meet and how do we meet? How are we going to make our community accessible to these people of peace? Now, something that came up last Sunday was a question around, in fact, I'm not sure it did come up as a question, but I think I anticipated that some of you might be feeling like this sounds very social. This sounds like a lot of people contact, and maybe you are someone who that's just not something that excites you. You may define yourself as an introvert. I do. I'm an introvert. Now, often it's easy to think that mission and evangelism is only for the extroverts, and I think I just want to highlight that as that's not a truth. That's not. I don't believe that's true. I think that's a lie that we need to be careful and wary of, because God needs the introverts to reach out to other introverts who only introverts will know how to relate to. And also, I think I will also want to say that being an introvert is more about how you recharge and restore. It's how you rest well. So I rest well on my own or in quiet. Extroverts will rest well with others in a social context. But we all have a role to play. And I don't see Jesus talking about introverts and extroverts in the Bible. I think there are all kinds of characters and personality types that God uses throughout the Bible for his purposes. And one thing that I do know that the New Testament church does talk about, and it talks about different ministries or gifts. And so in Ephesians 4, we see these 5 ministries I want to encourage you to think about. The apostle, apostolic ministry, the prophet, the prophetic ministry, evangelist, pastor, and teacher. And I believe that God has given each of us a primary leadership gift, a primary gift, a way that we're wired, a way that he's created us to make disciples in a particular way. And the fact is, we actually need each other to complement us. We cannot do mission and evangelism and discipleship on our own. We need to do it in community, and that's how God's wired us. He's made us so that we need each other. We need all of those ministries, all of those 5 gifts. And so within your missional community, I start identifying who has which gift. And that may be related and linked to your personality as an introvert or an extrovert, but it might not be. And I want to encourage you that there is life to be found in missional community for the introverts. There is a particular role for you. There is a particular gift that you have that missional community needs and will not be effective in mission and evangelism without you. And so I just want to encourage you to be open to the fact that this might be a new season for you to start to discover that gift that God has placed within you, and maybe start to use it, start to fan it into flame, and start to lean on each other. So if you're feeling like this is not for you because of your personality type, I want to encourage you to come and talk to me, because I'm with you. I've never felt like I'm drawn to a crowd. I've never felt drawn to the social gatherings in my own strength, but I know that I have a particular role to play in reaching a particular group of people, in discipling people in a particular way, that community needs me to be me, and the missional communities need you to be you, not to try and be someone you're not. But it is important that we do explore resting well, and we can talk about that another time. But hopefully you found this helpful. I'm sure that you've got other questions, and there'll be a chance on Sunday to ask questions again, but give me a call if you want a longer chat.